Okay, this is me telling you that Nova Labs is going to put their thumb on the scale for this one. And for this one, I am talking about the two HIPs that are out right now for voting, HIPs 109 and 113. And I'm just going to read this from Discord first. I wanted to make sure everyone is aware that Nova Labs is planning to vote yes on both HIP 109 and 113. We view their passage as critical to the success of helium. As I have mentioned in the past, our practice is typically been to abstain from voting, but just as with HIP 103, which is proof that they don't always abstain from voting, where we view a change as critical to the network's success, we feel an obligation to vote accordingly. Currently, so they don't feel an obligation to abstain. They feel an obligation to vote accordingly. Currently, CBRS radios are not transferring data because they turned it off, and nearly all offload and BD discussions we are having depend on Wi-Fi being successful. CBRS is an amazing development, and we have collectively spent tens of thousands of hours focused on improving and using the technology. However, it's not ready for mass adoption, either by consumers via Helium Mobile or by third parties looking to use the network as a neutral host. We're still committed to CBRS and support the reinstatement of rewards when data starts being transferred. Again, when they can turn it back on. As a result, we think it's necessary for Wi-Fi deployers to be sufficiently rewarded and incentivized to deploy in high-quality locations now. We believe the combination of HIP-103, HIP-109, and HIP-113 lead to the network in the correct direction with the highest likelihood of success in the near and long term. All right, so again, what we're talking about, and if I didn't already say it, please do like and subscribe if you like videos like this. What we were talking about is the vote right now. If you go to heliumvote.com and go under mobile, you can see there are two votes. One for HIP 113, reward CBRS as experimental, and HIP 109, hex boosting for deployment. I will discuss these as quickly as I can. First, just referencing what they're saying in Discord about them. So HIP 109, hex boosting by deployment. This HIP allows service providers to choose to specify types of deployments like CBRS or Wi-Fi for their hex boosting. This builds on HIP 84, which allowed providers to use mobile tokens to boost service in high demand areas, but didn't let them specify the type of deployment. If this proposal passes, providers can target their boosts more precisely. All right. And then there's HIP 113, reward CBRS as experimental. This proposal suggests reducing proof of coverage rewards for CBRS radios via adjusting the coverage points to reflect their limited utility and experimental status on the Helium mobile network. Although coverage points for CBRS radios are proposed to be reduced by 75%, the impact on each radio overall rewards is currently less than that. I don't believe it, due to how modeled coverage points are calculated. So are they going to be recalculated? I don't really... by the way, I looked at the HIP, doesn't explain the calculation exactly. So I don't know who added this little fact in. I guess this little fact was trying to make you feel better, but it doesn't. As well as this last fact, data transfer rewards for CBRS radios will not be changed if this proposal passes. Data isn't turned on, so it's kind of moot. We're not getting paid for data transfer because data's not turned on. How about you turn on data, and then that will be important to me. But hey, let's just jump into these. So I'm just going to talk about HIP 109 first, and I could read this whole thing, but I don't see the point. I'm going to just go directly to detailed explanation so you guys can get the explanation, and then we can talk about it really quick. Whenever a service provider burns mobile to boost hexes, they will be allowed to choose what type of deployment, indoor CBRS, outdoor CBRS, indoor Wi-Fi, outdoor Wi-Fi, their boosts will be applied to. This selection may be one or all deployment types. The selection needs to be made when the initial burn occurs and cannot be changed after the initial selection. Okay, not be changed. For example, if a service provider burns mobile to boost a hex and specifies the boost can only apply towards outdoor Wi-Fi, any indoor Wi-Fi CBRS deployments covering that boosted hex will not receive the boost but will still be rewarded for POC. In instances where the service provider wants to boost both CBRX and Wi-Fi in a hex, the cost will be I don't care about the cost to them. Although I guess this is, as I'm scrolling through, defines these hexes. Uh, so what I'm guessing from this right now, as I'm reading it, I'm not going to go any further reading it. But point being is, they just want to make it so that they can define these in the future. Sounds like they can't change them, which means that the current boosts happening in Miami and in Mexico will stay as they are. Uh, for wait, labels provide not container coverage. Yeah. But for anything new, they want to be able to say, oh no, we're only allowing this for indoor Wi Fi or indoor CBRS. But let's just face facts here. They're doing it because they're trying to get rid of the CBRS option right now. They want to make sure that only boosts happen for Wi Fi. And I get that. And, honestly, I personally think boosts are just another way to game the system, which is why they should get rid of boosts. But, somebody came up with this. Somebody like Andy and Max Gold. So, I don't know. Good luck. Hope it works. I mean, what else am I supposed to say? You guys have the thumbs on the scales to vote yes. So, let's see what the other one is. Okay. This is the sad one for me. As many of you know, I have a nice CBRS system that was making some great money until 103 passed. Then it dropped by a third, I'm going to say, when the first Oracle went live, and it dropped by another third when the second Oracle went live. So, yeah, I'm only making about 33% of what I used to make. And now they're talking about HIP-113, reward CBRS as experimental. Now, before I get into this, I'm always curious about the people who author these. And the author is Raw Man. Now, I looked at who Raw Man is. I found his website here where it says host of the Hotspot podcast and founder of FairSpot. And here it says that they're thrilled to announce that Armin is the newest member of the Helium Foundation Board of Directors. He's been one of the most active community members since 2019, meaning he talks a lot, mainnet launch in governance capacity, as well as an educational resource because he launched the Hotspot podcast, a helium-focused podcast in the summer of 2020. And he also created FairSpot, a revenue-sharing hosting network with over 1,000 hosts across the U.S. A two-time entrepreneur. Well, let's take a look at how his entrepreneurship has gone. Wow. So let's see. This is his podcast, The Hotspot, and he has, in the past 4 years, made 30 podcasts. 30. And the last one was March 15th of 2023. Wow. He is prolific. Yeah, I'm sorry. I how many videos do I have? I have over 100. Probably over 100 about helium, and he only managed to do 30 and then stopped in 2023. Okay, what else? Okay, and this is his other entrepreneurship thing. Radically Fair Hotspot hosting, only available in the United States. And as of January 1st of 2023, so over a year ago, applications to the hosting service will be no longer accepted. So, yeah. Entrepreneur failure who is now deciding the fate of helium. Okay. Got a little frustrated for a second there. Anyway, I don't know if I even want to read this. I mean, we know his motivation. He's made it very obvious that he's anti-CBRS all over Discord. Obviously, he does a comparison here, which I don't even agree with, between CBRS and Wi-Fi. He's saying that, well, like, for example, the potential signal level is high over here. It's medium with Wi-Fi, which I would even say it's not even medium, it's low. Handoff performance mixed. Bandwidth capacity medium. I would say bandwidth capacities are the same between CBRS and Wi-Fi. But anyway, this is his way of trying to convince you. And if you're convinced, yay. If you're not convinced, he says boo. it goes on here, but the point being is if you look at like some of his numbers here, he's trying to change it from an estimated coverage point of 16 to 4, so basically lowering it by 75%. That's his objective. He wants CBRS users to get 75% less rewards and to have those rewards go to Wi-Fi users, which, yeah, I get it. I get it. Is it really going to make a difference with Wi-Fi users? I don't know. But, if it does, then Wi-Fi users will be happy for a while until, let's see, how many are out there right now? We got 8,655. So once that doubles, it won't even matter, which is happening now. I mean, look, 320 in 7 days versus 33 CBRS users. And I mean, they're not even making the devices anymore for CBRS. So does it matter? I mean, CBRS is going away on its own. We're losing money on our own. Do you have to really put the nail in the coffin? I guess he says yes, he does. I don't know if I want to read this. The only other thing I'm going to mention here is that they have this partial reversal option saying that if things actually do work out to some degree, which is what this says, then let's, instead of lowering you by 75%, let's only lower you by 50%. And see, so it goes from that 4 up to an 8, and not back to the 16 that it was before. So, yeah, I'm not even going to go through this. I think the alternates, in some ways, I mean, if you're going to put the nail in the coffin, just put the nail in the coffin, Don't reduce coverage. Just eliminate it if you're going to be that way. Let's have a vote to eliminate it. I'm frustrated. I am frustrated about this stuff. I don't think it's fair to people who put an investment in CBRS, who have gone to places and worked out deals with people to have this equipment is paying to have that equipment put in places. They're already dealing with the fact that their rewards have lowered significantly. At the end of the day, I guess here's the thing. For me, all of these HIPs just make it so nobody wants to do business with helium. You can't do business with people who suddenly make ridiculous regulations all over the place. And that's what this board of directors is doing. They just love putting regulations in. They're from California, I get it, but that's an overregulated state. And they're just taking, what they've learned in California and trying to, put it to the whole network. So I don't like it. I'm not happy about it. If I were to, and I've said this in the past, and I'm going to talk more about it in some future videos, if I'm going to take one of these DPIN projects and try to get a business going with it, it is not going to be helium. It would be HiveMapper, honestly. And right now I'm even thinking about it more. I'm going to talk about that in a future video. So with that, I say to you all, thank you for watching. Please do like and subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and have a great day.